Hello. Hi, Huff. You're amazingly quick to jump in chat. Right, Raptor, good to have you back with us. Alright, Pick of Death. Great to have you back with us. Okay, let's give that a go. Right. So the usual question, what am I doing? Bot AI. Well, basic bot AI. There's nothing particularly clever. Oh, I know what's happened. Yeah, my fault. Right, David Dick, good to have you back with us, and Let's Draco. Good to have people back with us. I remember from the last stream, Leaf Cutter AI opponent is meant to attack the player to run out of leaves to harvest, but what would happen if it decides to do so before the player's nest exit is dug out? Yeah, that's another one of those things we'd need to make a decision on. So you either hold them up until, so basically just have them do nothing until the player tunnels to the surface and then attack them, or you have them loiter around their nest entrance. I think you probably make them do nothing. That said, it's a rare occurrence that, because as a leaf cutter colony, you're going to run out of stuff underground to do pretty instantly. There are some leaves, but there's really not many. Okay. That's interesting. Why would it put that off in the sky? Maybe it's irrelevant because it 2Ds it anyway. Actually, you can see the ones that are next to plants are up in the sky, like this one. I think basically it takes the average location in between the most dense resources. So the ones that are right next to plants. No, that one was on the floor. Anyway, looks like it's working okay anyway. All that is it looking at locations and getting the best location to place a marker for resource harvesting purposes. Alright, I don't need that anymore. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm going to refresh the marker info. Just going to give that an average. Right, time to refresh all PO points of interest. I think the info on all points of interest should be refreshed over 10 seconds. So there's only 4 points of interest, so every 10 seconds it should have refreshed the info on every point of interest. So that's how many points of interest there are. So let's say there's 4 points of interest, which there is in this case. Time to refresh all points divided by how many points there are. So that'll be 0.2. That'll be 2.5 every 2.5 seconds. Looping. So every 2.5 seconds, it should refresh the info on all points of it should have refreshed the info on the next point of interest. I will reconnect that so I know it's actually doing something. I then need to run the setup. Okay, so back to chat. Possible option might be to allow the ants to excavate the nest entrance outside. Just an idea, though. Yeah, it's an idea, but I'm not. I think that's something we'd need to consider, certainly versus other colonies, because then you could just hide underground permanently. So maybe you could. So maybe that's an option for the future. At the moment, I'm not going to build that in for this. That's too complicated action for the tiny thing that this level is. But yeah, it's certainly a thought for the future. Okay, so on the level blueprint, we need to. There's the setting up the enemy AI, setting up enemy colonies. Here it is. So that's setting up for various difficulties, but I also want to run that here. Okay. Alright, so that should actually be going now. So with this I should be able to it should refresh the information. So you should see those debug spheres constantly appearing. And they're the suggested locations for the computer to put their markers down. And basically I need it to use that information to decide where it's going to put the marker down. I think it'll just be some sort of basic calculation based on distance from the nest and amount of resources available at that point. Really basic information. Right, that boy I thought. Good to have you back with us. Like I said, I'm not making this AI complicated, although I am putting it in a separate object so I can reuse it, because at the minute all the AI in the game is built into levels themselves, which means they're not reusable. So I'm just making this one slightly more reusable. Mechanic for creatures to be able to excavate the nest entrance from outside when they are determined to enter. Might add a failsafe for certain situations. Yeah. No, I understand the point, and it seems like a sensible idea. I'm just not going to implement it at the moment. It's not high priority, because we do have the the self-excavating nest, which does look a bit daft, but basically in 2.1 there was a point where 2.1 level was farmable by just not excavating the nest. So people were booting up the game, starting up 2.1 and just letting it play without excavating out the nest, and you won automatically because the creatures couldn't get in to kill you, and it's the levels kind of just works on a timer. That's why that was built in. Remember the comments on Steam after we've made the patch notes to fix with that one, and someone underneath said, "Well, there goes my farm. There goes my free resources." Okay, so let's just check that it's working. So shouldn't take me a second. And it's not working. that's not being called. Ah. Because that was doing nothing. Great. Great. I love it. I love it, you love it, we love it. Okay. I think this stream will go until for another hour. So it's not going to be a long stream today. But amount of royal jelly those players have should be a lot. Yeah. Yeah, you would have thought so, wouldn't you? The there are leaves just a few centimeters from the nest entrance, but the AI doesn't seem interested. Right. So where are we? Oh dear, look at that. What amazing artwork. Okay. So now it should work. Yep. Yeah. It'll work. Yeah. Okay. There we go. There we go. It appears to be working. Okay, so it's constantly refreshing the info from those 4 locations. All good? All good. Right. So there's 4 locations it's looking at. It then needs to decide which one to harvest. Let me just check what Liam does with. This is the 3.1 AI that I've got up here. It's a mess. It's quite complicated though. There was a lot of what ifs built into it. I have to come back to this, getting combat locations. Just want to see what he's done with the marker. Check and move to location. Move group to location. Okay, so it looks to me like there's a move group to location command in the bot data supplement. So during setup, I'm gonna get that. Okay, so oh, I don't want a macro. No macros today, thank you. Always take the way of least resistance. Nearest is probably the right call. Although if there's one leaf near the nest, you don't want to send your whole force to harvest it. That's the other thing. So I'm going to do a very simple calculation, which will weight the points based on their food available and distance from the nest. I think distance from the nest will have the largest impact, and this is stuff I can take with me into free play when we get around to doing that. I need to get the pawn somehow. Actually, I think I might have. I've set the so yeah. I need to get the pawn. There's some way of doing it. I can't remember how. Thought it was in game state, but maybe it's in game mode. Third time lucky. Okay, how do I get the pawn? Definitely not this, right? Definitely not that. Sometimes the basic things go from your head. It's auto-saving now, so I'm stuck. This is the maybe. Hang on 1 second. Maybe I iterate through them. Kind of silly. I suppose I could assign it in the level blueprint. You know what I could do? Let's pass it through here. So then in the level, I can pass that in where setup is run. Okay, so there is 3 pawns in the world. This one's the looks like there is a way of doing it. let's just go back to me with that's apparently how I do it. That's